like to look at the communication matrix now. One of the keystones of humanity is that we are by far the most advanced species on the planet in terms of communication. We have more techniques and tools and methods of communication than all the rest of the creatures on the planet put together. We call it language. And yet, whilst we might have these highly sophisticated techniques of communication, how many of us fully utilise everything in our communication arsenal? We're not using our communication to the fullest of our capabilities. We're not realising our potential as part of the human race. And I'd like to look at how we can increase and improve our communication in this module. I'd like you to consider the following. I appreciate that you've been communicating for a number of years. In fact, you've been communicating since before you were born. However, the situation is that I believe there's always room for improvement. So I'd like you to approach the following material with an open mind and an open heart. And maybe we can see how we can all improve how well we communicate with each other. Would that be okay? I've been using the following diagrams for a number of years, and I've been using it in all of my training sessions in all of the different countries I've worked in. Now, whilst you might think this is obvious for the English language and for English language speakers, actually it works with people whose English is not their main language. In fact, it's worked with people whose English is their second or third language, let alone their main language. So I'd really like you to have a look at this and see how it can work for you. I've had delegates all over the world significantly improve their communication skills by looking and watching the following material. It's an excellent way for you to take more control over your communication by incorporating the following concepts and the following ideas. It's a really interesting way to visualize the whole of the communication process. This then is the communication process. Now, some of the material that follows has come from Sarge Gabodi's Beyond Psychology, which is an excellent TIR book. In basic terms, when you communicate, there must be a sender and a receiver. And the sender will send information to the receiver. In basic communication terms, sender sends information to the receiver. This is what most people think is the be-all and end-all of communication. A sender sending information to a receiver. And yet there's so much more when you just look under the surface, which is what I'd like us to do now. So let's take a closer look at communication. Let's look at what happens before we even start to communicate. Before we send any information, we should be doing two things. Firstly, we should make sure, is the receiver ready to receive? That means if we are face to face with somebody, do we have eye contact? If we're on a telephone, it's making sure that somebody is ready to talk to us. We have to be asking ourselves, have we made sure that the other side, the receiver, is ready to receive our information? And secondly, do we have the right information going to the right person at the right time in the right manner? Because if we're not using the right information and it's not going to the right person and it's not going at the right time in the right method, then we are really not making the most of a communication opportunity. So now you are ready to send your information. But how will you send it? Face to face? Telephone, voice, letter, advertising, print, email, a flyer? What method will you use to communicate? We've never had so many different options in how we communicate with people. But for this, I'd like to just stick to face-to-face and perhaps telephone communication, because those are the most commonly used in our lives.